what that was. But yeah, we didn't make an embarrassment of ourselves, and at the same time, we probably didn't play like worthy winners. So I think a very deserved outcome of the Classical. Frankly speaking, I had thought it would be far worse, and I think second half we played quite well compared to. I mean, what I thought it would be compared to the first half, and they had many chances, but even we had chances. But Dom, welcome. How do you feel?
Yeah, thanks, Dev. Yeah, I mean, how can you feel when you lose a Classico? It's always going to be a bit, on the downside. But you know what? I think what you said is true. I think Real Madrid have kind of earned their win, especially with how many chances they've had versus how many chances we've had, and obviously, I think they could have scored more on a
Easily.
different night. They could have scored more. I think Chesney was surprisingly in good form
Outstanding.
tonight.
Best player.
Yeah, I know.
Best player.
Um, but I would still say that the drop off from him or from John Garcia to Chesney still could be felt throughout the team. However, when it comes to pure shot stopping and trying to keep us in the game, he has done that. I think Chesney has given us quite a few chances tonight to actually hope. He has given us some hope with the penalty save and a couple of big saves apart from that as well. And I think on a different night, this is much worse. On a different night, maybe Barca take their chances better. Who knows? But I think at the end of the day, we do have to say this is a Clasico that's only, 10 games into the season. It's not a season defining Clasico. Um, but those are all just kind of consolation prizes, if you will, because obviously you always want to win a Clasico. Now we've won 4 Clásicos in a row, so I think this was coming. I think kind of. You can't win them all. You can't win them
We
all.
covered them all, and yeah, like I mean, come on, we had like look at our bench, look at the substitutions that we had, and look at the players. First of all, the entire team looks tired. 10 games into the season, you don't know why, but it's. So we've been seeing this for a while. That was that. Lamine, I don't think he's still fit. He's turning up, but I don't think he's fit. Ferrans, I don't think he'll ever be a striker who he's not a hold up striker. Every single
Oh no.
opportunity that went to him, it died just there, like right there. Um, it didn't work out. And then you had Marcus Rashford, who was kind of invisible today. Madrid just locked him out of the game completely, so he wasn't being able to manufacture or affect the game. Pedri did try to an extent. De Jong, yeah, I mean, we just didn't have the players to take on a team like that. But that said, I mean, like Madrid won, so kudos to them. But this isn't a great Madrid team, and I didn't understand what Alonso was doing for the last 25 minutes. That was a Getafe low block with taking everybody off at a 2-1 because he was trying to preserve the
Yeah.
the 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 margin that he had instead of going for the kill, which he should have because he would have probably gotten more goals. I mean, Vinny was really upset
Right.
when he walked off and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just didn't understand that why with this forward line, why did Alonso need to put that was a Getafe level block lines of 5 and 4 for like
Yeah.
20 minutes. I didn't understand that game at all. At all.
Yes, it was. It is a bit weird, and to me, one of the things that really feels like a missed opportunity is the fact that Barca had opportunities to take advantage of the Madrid block numerous times, but for one reason or the other, we were a bit subdued throughout the game. And then I felt towards the second half, even more so than the first half, I felt like we gave up position cheaply in some
Easily.
instances. Yes,
Easily.
very easy. Yeah, very easily. And without pointing fingers to certain players, but even the players that you wouldn't expect to give up possession, they did so. So maybe it was a bit of the occasion, a bit of the fatigue. We always keep mentioning this fatigue, but I think it is in there somewhere in the conversation. Now the occasion, the away game, Madrid had momentum in the first half, especially. You could see that with the crowd and how they pressed and how they attacked. But I feel like this Barca should have done much more damage to this Real Madrid
Yeah.
because to your point, Dev, Madrid played better and they maybe earned this 3 points more than Barca did. But at the end of the day, they are also a vulnerable team. They're not
They're not a good team at
flawless
all. I
team.
mean, sorry, not to say it like that, but this isn't an
I,
incredible team. No, it isn't. Like Xabi Alonso is still trying to work out the pieces of this Madrid and try to play them the way he wants them to play. But I mean, you could see that second half, Barca actually played better, and I didn't expect that to happen at all.
Mhm.
Right? So no, this there isn't something like magical in this Madrid team, but they're focused. They got the job done. So yeah, credit, and they totally deserve today's win. No questions on that. For Flick, the question is like, what does he do for the rest of like there are 40 games left in the season? What does he do? The team looks shot completely. There is no energy left in the team. We don't
Yeah,
have capable players in the places. I mean, even if you like Lewandowski comes back or Rafinha comes back, yeah, sure.
yeah.
But I mean, overall, the pressing is off. They just like the team is just not there. It's disjoint, and it's been like that for the whole season. So
Hmm.
uh, there are bigger problems.
There certainly are, and this squad, still feel like if you had a Rafinha in there somewhere, obviously John Garcia in possession could make a difference. Even though we can't really, I don't really want to go into the Chesney flaws tonight because I think he's done everything in his power to
He was
actually keep us
outstanding.
afloat.
That save was
Yeah,
incredible.
outstanding. Yeah, yeah. I think that
I
needs to
think
be
total
said.
saves.
Needs
I
to
think he
be
made like 6 or 7 saves today. That's
including
not very
penalties.
fair.
So I think that is fair from him because everyone was before the game. I had tweeted who would you like to have a dream game against Madrid? And so many shouts were Chesney, take. Yeah, exactly, take. And he delivered. You know what? He delivered. But Madrid had like 8 or 9 chances, like bigger ones, and including this penalty, of course, and then the offside goal and stuff like that. So I think credit to him, he did show up. Now there are players who I think maybe did not do their role to the standards that we would expect or want them to have performed it, but I just feel like Barca could have and should have done more, especially in possession. Now, out of possession, you mentioned that the press is kind of all over the place because Barca either will go up for a high press and try and cause you trouble and win the ball back high, or they will just be a bit too passive. But then if you have those two extremes, then your structure, the rest of your structure needs to reflect that approach. So if you're going for a high press, absolutely go with a high line, give everything you've got, go all the way in. But then if you're not going to be high pressing, if you're going to be passive off the ball, then the rest of the structure needs to follow the same blueprint and drop deeper, be a deeper mid or low block defensive team if you need to be. But don't
I
go,
don't.
yeah.
We can go into tactics and formations and all of that, but I just don't. I mean, no amount of tactic is going to compensate for the fact that your players are not running or their players are not pressing, which they aren't. Like literally, that energy is completely lacking. I think
But that's the thing, Dev. If they're not pressing, then the rest of the team should reflect that as well. If the front line is not pressing, you have no business having this high line. Then that's
that's
what
the
I
thing,
mean.
right?
You go one way or the other. You have to go all the way into one direction, right? You can't be half-ass with your press. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
Which is
continue,
what is
please.
happening right now. They're like, I'll run a little bit, but I'm not going to commit myself fully, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just not like. So there's a problem, and this problem was there not today. I think, and I fundamentally believe that they should have done a far better job of upgrading the squad in the summer because they needed to. This media narrative that they did that no, we have now better players everywhere by getting a Rooney Bargy or whatever. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. He's a great player. I'm not denying that. But my point is, in this level of football, after that
Yeah.
season, the job of the board was to upgrade the team, which they didn't, and that is what you can see. What Flick is doing, what can he do? Well, look at the bench he had today. Who does he bring? Look at the subs that
Yeah,
Madrid
yeah.
got, right, from 60th to 90th, and look at what Barca did. So we didn't have players on the bench. We didn't have players. The ones that are injured for ages, and their injuries are increasing, so they're relapsing. Something's happening or whatever. So they're not coming back. The players that are on the pitch, they look completely like shot. Like they literally look tired all the time. So uh, there are massive other problems. I would say they were really lucky that the scoreline was 2-1 and we got away with it, and that's okay. It did become embarrassing and so on. And for whatever reason, Xavi Alonso decided to. But I think he was so scared as his first manager, the
Mm.
first Clasico as a manager.
That's fair.
He just wanted to win it somehow. He just wanted to win the Clasico somehow in Bernabeu. He didn't want to lose that, so he
Yeah,
just went,
yeah,
okay, you got the 2-1, you protect that lead. That's basically what it. Which was very surprising
yeah. It
because
was.
with the firepower that they had and Barca looking for the goal, and they would have, Madrid could have easily scored an easy 2 or 3 more on the counter. They could have. but he didn't. So we were lucky from that perspective, and that allowed Barca to have some dominance in the second half. We saw they played with a lot more possession, uh, and nothing came out of it. And on days like this, when you don't have the people or you're not playing well, you can't miss those chances like Kunde, the stuff that
Oh
he
yeah,
missed,
that
or
was.
Fermin, the stuff that he missed. You just can't afford to do that. You have to take those chances and make them count, which we didn't. So yeah, I mean it's hard, and in this season it will be difficult if the team, and I don't see any reinforcements in the window. I don't know about you, Dom, but I don't know where the money for doing anything like that. But I don't see us winning lots and lots of silverware. Yes, we will do nice. We will do nicely in the league and we'll do nicely in Champions League, whatever. But I think we are winning if we continue to play like this. And I don't know where this extra energy is going to come from. I just don't know.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. I mean, we'll see what happens when and if we have a full squad. I think that's the first thing. Okay, can you reset the squad? First of all, with fitness wise, both with the injuries and the players who are playing, and then not really looking like their usual selves. Because even Pedri, look at Pedri tonight. I far be it from me to say Pedri is bad and he's not playing well, but tonight he hasn't shown up, and I don't know if that's what is to be blamed there. But I didn't particularly
Who
like
is he going to
everything.
combine with? I mean, even if he Pedri, like you can't accept a Pedri to just slalom his way
Yeah, no,
into.
no, he's not. He's not. He can't do this by himself. That's
There
precisely.
weren't
Yeah,
players
absolutely.
around him who will
Um,
complement him. There
I
wasn't. I'm
think
not saying Pedri was playing good, but who was the other player? There was
yeah,
nobody.
in attack, especially, I would say that in attack, Barca had tonight we were awful in attack. I just think that there's no see with Lamine Yamal, for example. We say okay, he's not 100% fit, and I still believe that is actually
He
that is
isn't.
absolutely true. He's not fit
He's
yet.
not
He's
using
not
both
ready
his
to.
feet. He's not
Yeah.
turning.
Um,
He's not going into a single tackle,
But also
right?
look at where he receives passes and how where he has to play most. Now, guys, you will see soon enough. Soon we will actually release a video where we play with these what if scenarios and where we actually go onto the tactics board and discuss these tactical changes that you can make to unlock blocks and so on and so forth. You'll see in one of those scenarios, there is Dev has made a scenario where you block access to Lamine Yamal. Now, blocking access to Lamine Yamal is difficult because he can sometimes eliminate two players at once, right? That's besides the point. But one of the main ways to limit Lamine is either to stop progression towards Lamine or you pray that you can stop him in a direct challenge. Now, Madrid have done the first thing very well. Why? Because look at where Lamine is receiving the passes. If you can force Lamine to drop deeper and be far away from the goal, maybe on his own half even, you've done half the job because you've moved away Lamine Yamal from danger area. So even if he does make a pass, even if he does beat his man, in those deeper areas, there is less damage to be done. And I think that's one of the things that both Barca have done wrong, but also Madrid. I'm sure that they have planned for Lamine Yamal. There's no doubt in my mind they have planned for Lamine Yamal, but they have done really well to force him deeper and to receive the ball and start his actions as far away from the goal as humanly possible. Once you've done
That's
that,
an outcome of the way we are playing as well, Dom.
it
We
is. Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Yeah, yes, I would agree because Barca in attack, they could not create those advantages for Lamine Yamal. They could not give Lamine Yamal the freedom to stay closer to the danger zones and then they access him. No, it was always going to be no Lamine. If you want the ball, you come near the ball, come close to the ball, make yourself available by any means necessary. But sometimes, or most of the time tonight, that means going away from the danger zones and going into the deeper areas to receive the ball. But that's not the solution for Barca. I
And I don't
feel.
know about I mean, we've been seeing the Kunde narrative for a while, and it's correct that he isn't looking the same as at last season. But I don't know the reason why. I mean, is the loss of Inigo and a settled backline the cause for it? Because there's been so much chopping and changing in that backline, and it isn't settled, and you can see that. And even today, you saw that. I mean, Eric's doing a good job, but that's like, is that the reason why everybody's form is suffering? Because for sure, you can see that Kunde is neither doing the, like, his
No, yeah,
combination with Lamine was very good last season. That was one of the reasons Lamine was so very so successful. That's gone for some reason. Offensively and defensively, he's not in the same state, and I don't know why. How that can happen within the phase state of you don't become a bad player overnight. It just happened that way. And football is a great leveler because if you remember, like in the Copa del Rey, it was Kunde who scored the goal, right? And today he
Yeah.
had that easy sitter and he missed that. So football levels up, but I don't know. There are too many issues out there which are not easy to explain, right? From that perspective, like you generally don't become a bad player, right? And then somebody was talking about Rashford and so on and so forth, and we talked about this. Rashford's great. I mean, 10 GA in a season, but is he the Barca player that Barca needs? And I said, I'm not still sure that. Of course, he's playing well and he's scoring goals and so on, but if you ask him to create something out of nothing in games like this, I don't know how many times will he be successful. Same thing
He's not
like
the that kind
Varane.
of player. No, he's not a magician type of player, right? He's not going to unlock this defense if you ask him to do that. He's not.
Exactly. He can't unlock a 5-4-1. He just doesn't have the capability of doing that, which is what Barca plays many a time. And if you take that out, I mean, then what are you going for? It's because it's the same problem with Ferran. Ferran's very good when he comes off the bench and he's at the end of chances and you slip in those balls, he's good. But if you ask him to be the central striker and be the hold-up person, you're not getting a single thing out of Ferran, right? And that's what you watch for the whole game tonight. So I don't know. Like there are personnel problem. There are absolute personnel problem from that
Yeah,
perspective.
it's
We made that comment. Can you blame a bloody F1 number 800? Yeah, I mean, I buy this point. I buy this argument fully that somewhere you'll have to go and spend in the market. Or yes, we have great players. We do. And they help us at times. And last season was amazing. But there are upgrades that are required. And
yeah,
the other thing
it's
that I want to talk about, Dom, and I don't know, like I felt in the last minute, I think some players have just not improved. Like Balde, I don't think he has improved in the last 1 to 2 seasons. His breakout was spectacular. His coming into the first team was spectacular. But after those two injuries, I think he's regressed, honestly.
I
Right? Some
mean,
of
but
these
the
players,
injuries, yeah. But if you don't play, I mean, it's for me, it's very hard to say Balde has regressed or stuck. I don't know. Maybe he's not reached. I would agree that he's not reached at a level that we would love for him to reach yet. But with these injuries, I don't know, man. I just
but
for
today,
me,
I mean, look
it's
at that
it's
play with Militao, right? When Militao just got the break and he ran, and then Balde was there,
I
and
know. Yeah, I know. I know.
I
Yeah, I
just
see
cannot
that.
understand how can you let that happen? Like how to how anyway. So and again the penetration like from a left back, I don't know what he created today. And not just this game, if like I would love to know in the last 5 games that Balde has played, what has he created in
Oh,
terms
he
of
has. You remember that play? It was no, he does. He does. No, I don't think that's criticism for. I
okay,
mean,
anyway, but we can disagree on this.
yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's fine, but it's just. I do buy the point that the injuries have, stopped his maybe his explosion. Maybe that was going to happen, but we don't know. But with Balde, I wouldn't go that far. It's very. To my point of view, the things that I see from Balde are still the things that he gives this Barca team that completely, compared to what we have, for example, Jaden Martin. Let's say I'm not trying to discredit him, but I think the jump from Martin to Balde is still a big one for us. And I think once obviously we can talk about his injuries a lot, and that's always going to be there because this team is depleted. It is a shadow of its former
it is
self,
a shadow.
both performance wise and personnel wise. It is true. There's no escaping that fact. But I just with these some of these players, it's just with
It
Balde,
is
I
Xavi's
wouldn't.
second season, and we have been saying this consistently. Like the injuries are the same. Xavi says
They
the
are.
same thing. Everybody was injured throughout that season all the time. We
Yeah,
have the same thing
exactly.
right now. The coach's ideas are not reflecting in the players because Flick obviously wants them to play in a different manner. What we saw last season, but the team's not responding anymore. So you can see that that's happening. So it is Xavi's second season, and we criticize Xavi a lot. But that just goes to show that football is a tough game, and how now Flick gets across to his players is going to be so critical. Somebody said sack Flick, I think in the comment. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Daniel. I understand the sentiment, but I don't know. I think that's the only good thing that we have right now. He just hasn't been given the tools to go and perform. And if you sack Hansi right now, who do you bring? Which is the coach who comes in and takes this up and then builds again. You have to have some level of, I don't know, continuity in some form for this team to. They're young. They're very young kids. They are very young kids. Our average age is 21. These are not seasoned professionals who have played, 10 years of football. So I don't think that's the right attitude. But Dom, what do you think? Is this because this will happen as Barca goes through the season? The noise of Hansi out will become louder because the team
Yeah.
will not perform at the level, and people will want him out. But do you think that's the solution?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think people are looking too much into the whole Hansi second season curse thing, and I think there's no actual evidence to support that because number one, the sample for Hansi Flick's second season is awful. You have one season in which he was called out to be not good, but then in that one season he still won trophies. Number one for Bayern and plenty of them. And number two, he had a very similar situation. Or he had players missing. He had psychological
Same.
issues stuff. It was a mentally tough season for him, physically for the team, and then he still delivered trophies. I don't think the second season curse is a real thing. I won't go into conspiracy theories, obviously, but I don't believe in that. Now, sacking him on what? On the basis of 3 games that we've lost so far, I wouldn't. I don't know. I
It will be
wouldn't go
more, Dom.
anywhere.
I am 100% sure this is going to be more this season.
Well, it
This
might
is
be.
not
Yeah, yeah.
starting as
I can
we.
see that. I can see that. I can see defeats, and because we will still face some tough teams. We do have Chelsea coming up soon. We do have Madrid one more time. We have Atletico. We have tough
We have
teams to play, tough
Atletico,
games to
Chelsea.
play.
Well,
Yeah.
lots of games.
So
They'll be hard.
so it's possible. It is possible, but I think we as a fan base we are always very very quick to jump the gun and say, okay, no, this coach needs to go because we've not won. I don't know,
I
15
think we
games in
need
a
to be
row.
patient.
So
I think we need to be patient.
yeah, especially if we
This
keep
team
saying that
needs,
young teams, yeah, exactly. If we have these kids and we say, okay, we need to give them time, then let's give them time because that's the only way this team grows. And
like, somewhere
it's
we have to
not.
be realistic. Like, Lamine Yamal is 18 years old. He's played over 100 games.
Mhm.
That is not real.
Yeah,
And somebody, Leon, you're saying that, they played, when they played, I think every single player who is in that, 18 to 22 age group, they have played far too many games than they should have at this age.
mhm.
And it is showing this season. It's really showing this season. Because I mean, it's not normal for kids of those ages, and we have a high core of just that age. They just look off. They look off physically, right? And then we don't have the subs or the replacement players to come in and take their space. Now, is that a coach's fault? Is that the board's fault? Whose fault? Like whoever's, we love putting a fault on somebody, but I
Yeah,
mean that's
it's
it's not. That's just
yeah,
it's
it's
far more
always
nuanced.
easier.
It's
It's
far
it's
more
always
nuanced.
easier to have a scapegoat. That's just a very human thing to do, I think. But yeah, we are as a fan base, we can be very reactive. And looking at this game, you can actually go in and say, okay, you know what? Things have happened in the game that are unfortunate. The season has been unfortunate in terms of injuries, fatigue, and just bad luck at times. When you look at some of the numbers and you see what Madrid have done tonight, you can also see that there were far better things on their side of the pitch than on ours. So I think that's kind of the I don't know. I don't want to say objective assessment from us here, Dev, but at the same time, there's nothing. There's no such thing as a purely objective thing. So yeah, we'll see.
And it's true. This point from cool 7767. I mean, finances are yes, they are. Like you remember, Xavi. Xavi won the league. Obviously, Laporta went and spent 160 mil. He got them players. Xavi won the league. Second season, Oriol Romeo. That's all we get. That's basically what happened. Um, and we saw the results of that. This season, like Flick gave a dream season. He got nothing, right? He got a Rooney Budgie. That's all he got, and we are suffering. So
Yeah, yeah,
somewhere you've got to be realistic that for the team to, until and unless Barca come to a stability where they can consistently spend in the right manner, get the right players in, like and upgrade the team where it's required. It's good to just let things be for a while and let the team develop. it's okay if we don't win everything. It's fine. It's a we
Yes.
overperformed last season, like way way
Yeah.
much. So I think it is okay. Uh, and like 5 points behind Madrid, 10 games into the season. I think we have enough league left
Oh yeah. Oh
to
yeah.
not get worried about it all. This is the
Oh
best time
yeah.
to have lost, and it's the best time to have lost with this team, right? Which has nobody, no, no like eight
Yeah.
starters are
Yeah.
out, and so on. So
I think that's
I
a
don't think
fair
there's,
point.
I don't think there's need for that knee jerk reaction. I think from that. But that said, though, the problems are real, and I don't think the problems are going away.
Oh
I
yeah.
just
I
don't
think
think. I don't think Rafinha, even when he comes back, he's going to have the same season that he did last year, John. And you and I have talked about it. Like
yeah, I
that was a
think
dream
it's
season. He was scoring goals out
unlikely.
of
Yeah.
nowhere.
It was unlikely. And to your point, losing there was never a better time. There's never a good time to lose a classical. Let's get that straight out of the way because you always want to win a classical. That's besides the point. But if there was a classical to be lost, it's this one.
This one,
We can this one, absolutely this one, because you have, as they've said, you have enough games to play, and both teams will drop points because tonight what we have seen are two struggling giants. Don't get this twisted. We are struggling, but Madrid are nowhere near
$100 on
struggling.
that. They're not going to win everything.
Nowhere
If
near.
this is how they
Yeah.
play, they're not going to win Champions League. No way.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, yeah. I should hope so. I should hope so. But we have seen Madrid play awful football and win Champions League. Unfortunately,
Well,
for
no,
us,
for sure.
unfortunately, fortunately for them. But we'll see how far the dark
This wasn't a
magic
very
can take
impressive
them.
scene.
Because,
Like, I mean, if you look into what was happening, this wasn't a very impressive outing from them. That's just what I felt.
yeah, the guy, the Madridista guy that I was watching the game with, he just left before the stream. He said it was not that that Madrid was so good, but Barca were bad, right? So
Bad.
that's what
Barca were really
yeah.
bad.
So he said that, and I have to mention him on the stream now, Marco. I did use your quote, but anyway, yeah, that's kind of how I see it as well. I mean, Barca did some of the things in possession, and we know about the other possession thing, but in
The
possession
question,
tonight, I was very underwhelmed with what we did and tried to do in possession because we tried very little. I think we tried very little. That was the biggest mistake here because
just
Madrid were there. They were like, okay, here you go. There's a chance if you're brave enough to take it, go and take it. But we were like, nah, you'll
no,
be
no, we don't want to
fine.
take it.
No, we're fine where we are. Yeah, it's just 5 points behind you guys. We'll get there eventually. That's what I
Somewhere they
felt
all, I
Barca were.
felt
Yeah,
Barca was okay playing for the 2-1. I genuinely
yeah.
felt they were okay playing for the 2-1 after a point of time. And here is a question from Boss Champion and somebody else also, I think Van Lee or whoever made the question. So we'll combine it. Flick's tactics. Now, we are all aware from game one in the season that the team is not performing well, right? The forwards are not pressing. The high line doesn't work. The defense probably has not the right people. And we know this. We have been seeing this consistently. Today, also, like Van Lee, to your point, if Rashford was the 9 and Furman was left and Pedri at the 10, the press would have been better. I think there's merit and argument both to that point. Now, the question is, can you blame the coach for sticking to his guts? And Dom, we have done countless work on 4-3-3 and four two three
Yeah.
one or what have you. Obviously, this is not working. So does Flick finally go and change? Because if I mean, you can't expect separate outcomes if the input is the same every single time, and we have seen that this is not working. This is not delivering the results. So is there something from a formation tactic, or are we changing whatever? Having to look into.
Yes, I think so. I think there are things that you can definitely tamper with. Yes, to your point, we did a whole piece on the 4-3-3 and how that changes the outlook of the team. Now it all depends. So two things I would say. Do you have the profiles to do a change to a completely different system? That's number one. But then a subheading for this number one is: do you have the profiles to play the way that you currently want to play? Because Flick, we know that he likes this number 10 role. We know that he likes to have this attacking midfielder behind the striker. And Fermin, I think Fermin at the moment, yes, okay, he can
It's
play that. Yeah,
it's
fits that
that role.
idea. Yeah. So okay, now left wing, center forward, right wing. Right wing, obviously, Lamine. We can talk about what form he is in, but he fits that role. Rashford is, I think, still is decent fit for the left wing. Now, the number 9, we are struggling, right? Because in games like this, you need something more from a number 9, and you can't really. the only change that we can make at the moment is revert to a Rashford number 9 or a false 9 system, right? So those are the two options that we have if you want to change the system completely, right? And going with Rashford as the number 9 means that you have to move Furman to the left side, but then who plays the 10, right? So if we do make this change that guys are proposing, then Pedri 10, okay, play Pedri as the 10. That means Pedri is up the pitch, and we know that Hansi Flick's number 10 is a moments player. Do you want Pedri to be a moments player? I wouldn't say so. I think Pedri can play the number 10. I think Pedri has great attacking instincts. He has great ball striking. He has great separation. He does have things that will instinctively make him a very good 10. And I do think that he would actually make a decent false 9 as well, but besides the point. But then you lose out on a lot of Pedri because he doesn't get involved much if he's number 10. So one of the solutions would be Casado, Pedri, De Jong midfield, 4 3
They
3.
played better today when Casado came in, 100%.
And then have Fermin as the left winger, Rashford 9, Lamine right wing. So you have a 4-3-3 with three midfielders, so two interiors, and you have a left winger who is more of an inverted winger. So that means Balde as well needs to have more of a presence higher up the pitch. There's no other way to do it because Furman is not a wide winger. Furman will have to get close to the goal. The 4-3-3 that the guys in the comments are suggesting with the position with Pedri and Furman and Rashford, that's the way I see it. I see it as inverted winger Furman, 4-3-3 in the middle, and then Balde as a strong wing back presence. It has to be like that. And then Rashford as a number 9.
Possibly, yes. And okay, Messi's goal. I'll be blacklisted. But if Laman Yamal doesn't improve and like you're okay selling him for 250 and build up, yeah, it's I can see. I know it won't be blacklisted. I can see the practical view of this. I can. We need the money. If we could get the money, we can really build a team. It's right, and it would be a more balanced team than what we have. So I get it. But the point is, one, he's played 100 games. That boy needs rest, like literally. He's genuinely, he should not come and play for a while, even if he's fit. That's just what I feel it should be. But that won't be the case because now he's too big. So he has to play. Second, so let's assume we sold him for 250 also. Who are going to buy? Who are we going to buy? Who is not on contract, who will be coming like some people will say, okay, Julian Alvarez, will he solve all our problems? No. And that's not 120 million gone, right? Or Erling Haaland or whatever. He's not coming. He's for like 10 years contract into City. So where are the players whom you're going to buy
Yeah.
with this 250 million? Right. So there's a problem there. And also then there is like, who is your franchisee player then? If you're taking Lamine out, right? Who's the one?
And imagine that precedent, Dev. You sell such a La Masia star, you sell him after you've been dubbing him the next Messi or the next, I don't know, the carrier
Very
of
hard.
Barca's legacy, and you sell him. I mean, whichever president or coach authorizes that sale and goes through with it, I don't know. I think the
Yeah, it's a hard one.
backlash it would be too much, right? It would go against everything that Barca stand for, and obviously we have left, or we have sold La Masia players in the past, but not of this caliber. It's like seeing a young Messi struggle for a couple of games, and you say, you know what? Nah, we can cash in what we can. It's harsh. I don't see it happening. I mean, nor should it. I don't think there's a reason to push the panic button for Lamine. I just don't think there is. Is he tired? Yes. Is he playing at his full potential? No, absolutely not. But I think, yeah, we're all in a bit of a emotional state where we see the
No,
negatives a
it's
bit
okay.
too
I mean,
much.
this is normal.
Yeah.
We lost, so obviously there'll be
Oh
emotion.
yeah.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong in that. But I do think like even if Yamin is fully fit, that boy should not be playing like first team football for a while. Because I think he's just like there's a time you need to grow, and he's just fast tracked everything. And while that is good, and we saw the benefits of that last season, I think this season you can see he's missing. Things are missing. Things are just not there, right? So it's just what it is. And to your point, Jacob, yes, we could have lost all these games. You are 100% right. Even Olympiacos too, we did 6-1 or something. Till the 70th minute, they were the better team. You're right. So we are watching. It's visible. It's not something new. But now the question is, there'll be okay. So will Flick change or Flick won't? I don't think Flick will change. I just don't think it will happen. I think our performances will improve a little bit when all the players come back and so on. But I don't think Flick is going to change. At the same, and then the question becomes, okay, do we then sack Flick? Will that solve it? No, it won't. It really won't until you upgrade this. So the answer to this is upgrading the team, which is spending money in the market. Somewhere you've got to understand where our gaps are, and we have gaps. We have gaps in defense. We had two 5'11" CBs playing and one proper CB playing up front. We didn't ever have our proper CB till the
Yeah.
57th minute of the game. So you cannot. It's just there are reasons why there are things that need to be in a particular, and Barca doesn't have that. So we have big gaps in offense, in defense, in the wings, in the left back. I think there are 4 or 5 players that we need. And that's like you just need to go and buy them right now. And we don't have the money for that. And until that happens, it's hard to say that this is wrong or that's wrong. Because when you have that team and then you bring these kids in as subs or impact players, you will see the difference. That's how they
Yeah.
should be. They shouldn't be
Yeah.
playing full 190 minutes. I mean, it should be a 20 to 25-minute player, which is what Messi was at his age, until he gathered those minutes to become a starter consistently. He's just not there.
Yeah, I think that that ship has sailed. Unfortunately, there's no way at this point. There's you can't really you can't
It won't
limit
happen.
Lamine to 20 minutes. No, it can't. No, it will never happen. I don't think it will happen. Now the question becomes then, okay, if we do, let's say we do accept our limitations, we say, okay, our team is not fit at the moment, and our team is very thin at the moment, and we can't really expect to be gunning for all the trophies this season. So, and then realistically, what would be a good season for us, right then? Because you can't as Barcelona, you can't give up
I'm
on
happy with
trophies.
two,
Um,
second in league, and I'm happy with if we go till the I don't know quarterfinals. I'm good with that. It's okay.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean, it's
It's
it's fair
fair.
to
I mean,
be if it's fair to be objective and grounded. I think so. But now look at it from I don't know Laporta's point of view or the club's point of view, whoever you want to
yeah,
mention in
with an
there,
election coming up,
is
yes.
yeah, is it how does that look? Obviously, publicly we're never going to say, okay, you know what, this season we're not going to bother with winning trophies. That's never going to happen. And I think Barca will be in contention, especially for La Liga. We can still challenge. I think this team is good enough to beat most teams in La Liga. Now, can we beat the biggest teams in Europe? Probably not. Maybe on
We
our
we
day.
can
On a,
beat this Madrid with a proper team. I think it's
yeah,
possible with a full
yeah,
team.
and
But yeah, well, we just have to wait till the next
yeah,
one and hope
I
that
know, I know.
everybody's fit.
Of course. And the good thing is that Clásicos really decide the league. Even if you lose both of the Clásicos, that doesn't mean you will win the league. It has happened before to both us and Madrid. So I think this is nothing to panic about. The problem is, what do we expect of this season and what do we deem a good season? Because not everyone is going to be happy with a trophy season, least of all, probably the upper hierarchy of the club. And what panic mode, what panic buttons do they break by the end of the season if a trophyless season happens? So that would be my question, because what are we prepared to risk, or what are we prepared to do at the end of the season if it doesn't meet our expectations, however high or low they are? I don't know what happens at the end of the season and what would be an acceptable outcome, or the worst case scenario that we can accept, right? That's the question now, because yes, this team needs time. Yes, this team is not playing at the level that it can play. It's not even full. The squad is not even full. But at the same time, we have to decide on, okay, this is what we can accept, what we can actually tolerate, and this is what we can aim for realistically. But we'll see. Yeah, that's the kind of the gist of it at the moment, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what. To me, if you ask me, like, nah. I mean, these knee jerk reactions
No,
don't
they
solve
do
anything
us
in the
any
long
good.
run.
No.
You got to keep the team. You got to give like Flick has a contract for another, I think, 2 years. Give him the contract. Probably try to make the team better, right? Get some people in. Hopefully, if you get if you're not under financial fair play, whatever, and just let it happen. It's okay. It is okay. We wildly overperformed last season, and it's coming back. The only thing that I want to talk about here, Dom, is that look at this 4-1-4-1, and we did a 4-1-4-1 between us, right, as a counter to our to Barca. And I didn't expect Madrid to play a 4-1-4-1, but here they are. And just structurally, I think, any thoughts on how Alonso's set up before we go into the statistics and numbers and so on and so forth?
This 4-1-4-1 was a 4-1-4-1 towards the second half in the mid block, but Madrid were actually in a five man block at the back most of the
Yeah, most of
when
the time.
Barca yeah, when Barca had initiative, Madrid were in a five-man block. That was and that's a fair point that was made by someone in the comments was that's Xabi Alonso's blueprint because especially when he goes up, you have these strikers and players like Vinicius and Mbappe who do the job, they do what they're needed to do. They score goals, they create chaos, and then once you do have the lead as a Xabi Alonso team, you kind of go into this more defensive type of approach. And I think it did work for Madrid, but only because Barca were timid in possession. Barca did not know how to exploit
Barca didn't
Madrid's
do
mid.
anything.
Didn't do anything, so you could actually withstand the attacks because if you look at the XG, for example, as well, and big chances, Barca didn't have much. Right, there's nothing here to write home about. And the biggest surprise and the biggest positive from all of those stats is Chesney's bloody rating. Look at Chesney's rating. If you go up the or down, where is the
I changed the
um,
ratings,
oh
but
oh
I
you changed it. All right.
no, no, I can bring it back here.
Oh, there you go. Look at Chesney's.
9.5. The number one
Jesus,
rated player in the whole team, in the whole game.
Jesus, bloody Christ! When was
But
the
he
last time we
deserves
had a
it. He deserves
goalie?
it. He
Oh,
got the penalty.
absolutely.
He saved 6 games, 6 goals. I think he deserves it.
He absolutely
Absolutely
does. I
deserves
mean,
it. Look at
yeah, he
the rating
does.
from Kunde, Yamal,
Yeah,
Kubarsi, Torres, Balde. They all
everyone.
had.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody had an off day, man. That this like, uh, yeah, nobody else. They just didn't turn up, and we saw that on the pitch. But if you look at and now we look at the statistics, look at this, right? Look at the momentum of the game. Like Barca was pretty much there throughout the game, even with half 8 people missing, which is where I feel that it's not so bad. But this, as I said, we do not have people to penetrate. Like, I mean, we can have all the possession in the world, but if you can't convert those chances, what are you going to do? And they will, except Furman, I don't see a verified goal scorer right now in the team. Right now, it can change
It's
when they
it,
come back.
it could change, but yeah, I mean that's just the number nine is a problem. Okay, Rashford's been scoring goals and assisting goals, absolutely fine. Yes, we've talked about him as well. But tonight, even when Rashford was making it on, when Fermin was making it on, even Ferran, we were just too. I don't know if we were afraid or just didn't want to risk it, but we just didn't
I never
didn't go
felt
for that.
there was a chance. There was a okay, because you feel like there's an opportunity that they will score a goal. It looks like they'll score a goal. It never felt like that with Barca today. Never felt.
Yeah, I know, and people are saying in the comments, Van Lee says, Osimhen or Samu. Van Lee, that's exactly. If you go back to my piece about the strikers guys on the blog, both of those players, spoiler alert, were in my top. I don't know how many players I've scouted back then, but they were in my top. Like the short list was Samuels, Osimhen, and players like that. Because I do think that they
They can do
fit.
a big hold up
They,
play.
they,
They can be the
mm,
target man. We don't have a
they
target
can
man.
they can be that, and they are lethal because the way they strike the ball. Both see Samuel Marodion is kind of wasteful because he's just raw, but the finishes that he has, we talk about a lot about Lewandowski having unique finishing in this team, which no one else can replicate. That's very true. Now, sorry, Samuel Marodion scores goals that are sometimes I feel like superhuman goals. Like you wouldn't even most players could not replicate that. That's the special thing about him. And Victor Osimhen is the same. He's just a spearhead for your attack. He just a dagger, if you will. Because Dev, you mentioned that there's no penetration now. Osimhen, when it
So
comes
look
to
at this:
penetration, yeah,
68% possession for 1.03 xg, 32% possession, 3.6 xg. Right? Madrid actually are underperformed with those 2 goals. They should have scored 4, rightfully, and that's what the number shows here. If you have this level of possession and this is your output, what is the point of that possession? Obviously that possession is just for the sake of passing it laterally between each other. There is no, you're not unlocking anything. You're not creating chances. Well, how many big chances have we created? Right, let's look into that. Big chances, 2 out of Madrid's 4. So at 32% possession, they created 4 big chances. With all the possession in the world, we could not create chances. Right, total shots less. So we had so much possession, but our total shots are less than Madrid. Goalkeeper saves, so much possession. Goalkeeper saves, we are higher. So Possession for the sake of possession doesn't make any sense, right? Those numbers look good, and we are circulating the ball amongst ourselves, and it feels good. But if you can't create danger, if you can't create overloads, if you can't, then there's no point, and that is on the players. If the players on the pitch are not translating the possession into attacks, into opportunities, then there's something wrong there, right? And so on. So again, like look at any look touches in the opposition box, 17 is to 34, right? 34% possession, 34 touches in Barca box, through balls. Every single attack metric that matters, they're better. Duels, they're better. Even with that little level of possession, they won every single duel that they needed to take. Round duels, aerial duels, dribbles, all of them. And we saw that uncharacteristic, wrong passing, sloppy possession, not being able to control the ball. This is not Flick's fault. This is on the players, guys. If you can't win a single, like look at this, every single one we have lost. Every single stat we have lost. Defending, lost, right? We like so
Yeah, I
it's
think
just. I mean,
it's
go ahead.
yeah. No, sorry. Yes, I think it's not. Yeah, it's not on Flick because I doubt Flick would instruct his players to be timid and passive in attack. I don't
They're
think that
not.
Flick would ever want that because Madrid, to be fair, they were there for taking, right? I think
They're dominating. Yeah,
last if last season Barca showed up in this match, we would score like 4 or 5 goals again.
you would have scored 4 5 goals.
Yeah, and that's I counted the Rafinha screamers out of nowhere into that, obviously, but even without those impossible to replicate goals, I still think the Barca from last season would blow this Madrid out of the water because this Madrid is yes, they were better than us tonight, but overall with just a little bit of more intent and just a bit more courage and incisiveness in possession, this Barca puts at least 2 more goals next.
Look at this, Tom. Assists in the final third, 145. 145 to 78. Yeah, in sort of Madrid. And from these 78, they had 34 touches, 50%, right? There was
Yeah.
somebody to take that ball and do something with it, whereas Barca had nothing. So, I mean, our front line has a serious problem. We're not converting. We don't have bite. Uh, and you can't be an elite team in competitions like this and go on to take a Real Madrid if you don't have finishing, if you don't have players who can convert. And that's not there. So creativity is not there. Conversion is not there. Defense is weak, and we don't have the right players. So, I mean, how can we say that this is like what else do you expect, what outcome do you expect if that's the numbers say everything in terms of how the team's performing and so on and so forth. The question
Yeah.
we need to ask is, okay, will it change? And again, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, but I think we will continue to win against the lower sides or the mid-size table, and we'll possibly win a
Well,
few matches in the Champions League. But beyond that, I don't see anything much in this season, Tom.
Uh, yeah, it's tough to tell because the silver lining is that Madrid, as we keep saying, they're not miles ahead of us. They have a more complete
Not
squad at
at
the
all.
moment in terms of fitness and stuff like that. So we can compete with this. If Madrid are our main competitor in the season, and which they are at the moment, at least they are, I think we can chase them up for the trophy. We can do what's needed to be done in throughout La Liga. Whether that happens or not is a different story. But we do have the tools, and now Flick's role in all of that, yes, it will be maybe to be less stubborn in certain situations. I would say that is still true. But again, Flick's system optimizes or maximizes attacking potential, and
Yep.
Flick's job is there to put the team in a position to
To win
score goals. But then, yeah, obviously, yeah. But then scoring goals is on the players
on the
themselves,
players.
right? So if he gives the environment to, let's say, Ferran Torres or I don't know, Rashford or Fermin Lopez to be in 2 to 3 clear cut good chances every single game, but they don't take any of them, then you can't go back and say, okay, Flick is not doing the job. I think that's it. From that perspective, we can't put it all on Flick.
I think this
So,
this this comment has value, and we've said the same thing, because in Flick's system, if you don't play that sixth gear and everybody, it is not going to work. And it's a very intense system. And with a young team last season, new formation, it worked because everybody gave their 120%, but then they ran out of steam and they can't
Yeah.
give 120% anymore. And in this system, if you don't give 120%, you're not going to get anything. There is a absolute, I could think rightful critique of a Flick and Flick system and what that can do. Now, the only shift is probably going to a 4-3-3, and Flick does play 4-3-3 sometime. It doesn't. It's not that he doesn't. Now, the question is, has he matured enough to understand that? Can he adjust for the team that he has? Because he's not going to get new players. That is the question that we need to see. And then the question becomes, Dom, that if he isn't, if he stays rigid and he does not adjust to what the reality is, then there's a question of what gives.
Yeah, what gives? And the thing is, we'll see what once the team is. So once the team is fit, and let's say everyone comes back for injury, we don't have any more injuries. We can play our Gala 11, whatever that Gala 11 at that moment is. We can play it, and then if the results don't come near the expected mean or whatever you want to call it, then we can have a conversation. Okay, maybe Flick is doing something terribly wrong. Until that point, we'll see. We can only
But
keep
isn't it the
guessing.
same job with all these elite coaches? Like you go and play for Pep. He's going to play his style. You go for
Oh yeah,
play for Simeone or whichever coach out there. They do not adjust on their principles at all. And sometimes, like look at Grealish and City, great player, right? But could not stand
oh yeah. But I
under
mean, some players just
fantastic
don't
player,
fit the
but he
system.
just couldn't, and he had to leave, right? So I don't know. It's just it's hard to I don't know what the solution.
It's a fine balance,
Very
because
hard.
it's because you don't want to give up on your ideals and principles, but principles and tactics are different. Tactics change from game to game. Principles remain solid. Principles in football. So for example, tactic in football can be, I don't know, a long ball into a striker and then a cut, or into a winger and then a cut back to the box. That can be a tactic. And that changes depending on the approach of the other team and who the other team on the other side is. Principle, for example, is compactness, because compactness is non-negotiable, right? If I'm playing Getafe on the other side, if I'm playing Real Madrid or Manchester City or PSG, it doesn't really matter. If I don't have compactness, I have weaknesses because I have gaps in my system. So principles like compactness, they stay the same regardless of the opponent and the match and the game setting. Tactics change. Pep Guardiola doesn't give up on his principles, but he does tweak the tactics. Now, can Flick do the same thing?
Can do the
To
same. Yeah,
me,
good
yeah,
point.
that's the thing
But
that
that's
I'm looking at here. Yeah,
I agree. I agree with you on this. That yes, his principles do not, but he should understand what he has and what his players can give or not give, and adjust accordingly. And can he do that? That's a question to be seen. That we will see in the games to come. But that said, though, I do agree with this, and in many ways. And I said I don't feel bad today at all. I
same.
expected to lose, and yesterday I called 3-1. That's what I called when we were doing the preview. 2-1. Okay. It's never nice to lose, but if you look at the reality, you have to be practical about your chances. So it's okay. And again, this is the best time to lose in the league. It's 10 games into the season. You're 5 points behind. Half or more than half of your team is outside, or they're not well, or what have you. So it can only get better from here. So that's one. That's good. That's a good side of it. Look at all the other teams. Like look at Liverpool to Van Lee's point. They've lost 5 games on the trot. Look at Simeone, right? They're not doing that well either. Look at what happened in Champions League, right? So somewhere we got look at Madrid last season. They spent so much, and then they lost four Clásicos straight in. They spent over 300 million, right?
Yeah,
So it's not so bad. It's fine. It's okay. We lost
yeah,
it. It's
it's
all
fine.
right. It was. We weren't played off the park. It wasn't an
Yeah,
embarrassing 5-0. It could have been, but it wasn't. And so it's all right. You just take it and you say, okay, the good players are going to come back, and hopefully the team will find in itself the energy to come back and figure out things among themselves. They also don't want to lose. They want to win. You could see that in them. It's going to hurt them, right? So I think it'll be better than this, but we have to be realistic that until and unless you upgrade this team with the right people, you cannot play the Hansi Flick system consistently. He needs the right players. He doesn't have the right players right now. It'll be the season that it'll be. Any last thoughts, Dom, before we sign off?
I would say that I'd like to sign off on a positive note, as you have done as well here, Dev. It always hurts to lose a Clasico. It's always a bad feeling to lose a Clasico. Again, this is the best Clasico to lose out of the two Clásicos. It's the best time in the league to lose a Clasico. And the way we've lost, I think it gives me solace that we have lost because of us, because us we can change. That's the changeable variable in this equation. We can't change Real Madrid. You can't hope, okay, maybe they get worse throughout the season. No, but you can work on yourself becoming better throughout the season. So I think us being the reason that we lost is a good thing tonight, because then, okay, we can work on that. We can actually do something about it, hopefully throughout the season, and I think we will. I think this season it might not be the same thrill. Might not have the same thrill as last season, but I still, and that's okay. That is okay. But also, I would say that not all hope is lost. I see this. I think this team will pick up form
Yeah,
as
me
they,
too.
and they will, and they will challenge this Madrid, because this Madrid is far from flawless, guys. They have been the better team tonight, but they are not flawless,
They,
and they're
they can be
not.
taken apart. They
Yeah,
can be defeated. This team
they
can be
can be
defeated.
beaten, and I think they will drop. They'll definitely drop points. We will drop points as well. That's fine as well. And I think we have enough in us to challenge and win the title. Does that guarantee title? No, it doesn't guarantee anything. But I think that there is enough for us in the tank, enough optimism and hope, if you will, that we don't write off this season. What, 10 games in? That would just be silly.
All right, guys. Thank you. That was good. Thank you for joining. A lot of you joined, and a lot of comments. It always makes us, that's what we like doing. So thanks for joining and
Yep,
sharing.
yep,
Obviously,
yep,
it's very emotional whenever Barca lose to Madrid. We had a great time last season. A little bit of that greatness has been taken away tonight, and we feel bad, which is right, which is how it should be.
yep,
So,
yep.
but thanks for joining. Bummer. But okay, we're going to come back strong, and there'll be better days, and we'll win better matches, and yeah, we'll be covering this game, and there's some more stuff that's coming out. So keep
Yep.
joining. We love doing this with you guys, so thank you. And yeah, we'll win the next one. We'll win them. It's just going to be a better day tomorrow.
We're good. Yeah, yeah.
Peace, Carlos.
Right, guys. Visca Barca, guys. See you.